You are listening to I Write the Songs here on BBC Radio Wales with me, Alan Thompson, and I'm delighted to say that my special guest on the programme today, having a chat about his lengthy career and playing some live music, we popped up to London today, to Maida Vale Studios here in London, to meet the one and only Mr. Eric Stewart. Eric, welcome to the programme.
Thank you very much, and good day, Alan.
Good day to you as well. Thank you very much for joining me on I Write the Songs.
My pleasure.
We've had some great songwriters over the recent months on the programme, and I'm really pleased that you could do the programme for us today. Before we look at the career and hear some of the great songs that you've written over the years, and also look at the new album, which is Do Not Bend, talking about songwriting, what's your first songwriting memory?
Oh, God, you've got to go back to the 60s when I was with a band called Wayne Fontana and the Mindbenders.
I remember them well.
I was the lead guitarist with Wayne Fontana and the Mindbenders until Wayne left for a solo career and I took over as lead vocal. And we wrote a song which was highly based on a Beatles track. I should say nicked from a Beatles track, called Long Time Coming. It's been a long time coming, but now I know I got it made. Very, very Beatly. But it was on the B-side of Game of Love,
right, which
was the number one. Yeah. So suddenly we were hit writers.
Okay, the new album just come out, Do Not Bend. Let's have a bit of music. Is there any particular song on the album that is your favourite? Because it's a varied mixture.
To play the songs from the Do Not Bend album at the moment is now an impossible, because I can give you the background of some of the tracks, but not play the song all the way through. The way I record nowadays, I will write as I record. So I'll sit there and just get a riff, you know. And that turns into a song. Now, I can play that bit, that's quite easy, but there's stuff I've put in there on some of these songs. I don't even know what I've played. And to be honest with you, I can't write music at all, Alan, along with Paul McCartney and quite a few other illustrious writers. We can't, the dots are gobbledygook to us. They're Russian or Dutch or something.
You play by ear?
I play by ear.
Yeah.
So I play on the piano. I mean, I know what the basic chords are physically, but when I sit down to write, I just fly by the seat of my pants and write something physically, which is now, of course, stored in your computer, using software in the computer. So it's locked in there. So then I'll go on to another instrument if I'm just doing a backing track and forget about what I played. As long as what I'm adding onto it fits with it, I don't really need to know what the chords were.
Have you always written the same way? Because you mentioned there that you're sitting at the piano and you find a riff and you sort of build a song around that. I mean, have you always written in the same kind of same procedure?
No, never. That's just one way. I had that riff. That was the first riff for the song on the album called Fred and Disorderly. Yeah. It's a story about a painter friend of mine who's always trying to explain painting to me, because I'd love to paint. He'd love to play piano. I said, okay, well, if you can teach me to paint like you, we'll do a deal. So I sat down, I had this riff. And then the words and the melody for the words happened after the riff. I got a good feel going. Actually, something I've experimented with, which I think may be interesting, is if you've got a history of songs that you really love, not your own song, stuff you've written yourself, but say great songs, great blues songs, great soul songs, great ballads, there'll be a feel on those songs that is particularly good. If you can somehow emulate that feel, and we call these things on MIDI programs grooves now. You can use a MIDI groove, and you say you wanted a song, that little riff there actually came from the feel on Wilson Pickett's Midnight Hour.
Oh, could you show us a bit of that?
It's going... So if I was singing, gonna wait till the midnight hour, till my love come tumbling down. Of course, I'm not doing Midnight Hour, but what I'm doing is the feel of it.
Sure.
The feel and the lovely drum feel on it. So a good way to do it is to take a couple of bars of your favourite song, put it in your computer as a rhythm, just as a rhythm, and then write your song on top of that rhythm. Just do a loop of the rhythm. I mean, there are tons of drum loops available on CDs, but they're not always great grooves. But if you've got a song you really love and you love to write a song like that, use the song itself, its rhythm, and just put that in your computer. And once you've got that in mind, if you want to produce an Elvis Presley rock and roll track, something like that, use a couple of bars for your feel.
Right.
It's something that's, I think, you've only been able to do since the computer sequencing programs have got so sophisticated. Yeah. And it's a great luxury to do that.
It's interesting. It's the feel of songs.
To feel the song, yeah.
Have you ever sat down and tried... I mean, you mentioned the Beatles song that you tried to sort of... to copy, if you like, to rewrite when you were in the Mindbenders. I spent years trying to rewrite 10cc songs, but they were far too complicated. Too many chords.
Too many chords.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever sort of tried to sort of rewrite other songs? I think Tom Robinson told me on an earlier I Write the Songs that he thought it was quite a good way of finding new songs was to deliberately try and sort of rewrite a well-known song, and it would take you in a different direction.
Yeah. It's a very good idea. You mean a song from somebody else?
Yeah, from somebody else. And I'm going to try and write, whatever.
Yeah. I saw a wonderful thing when I was working in Stockholm with Agnetha from ABBA.
Right.
I was producing her album, Eyes of a Woman. And while I was in there in one studio, the rest of the ABBA team, Bjorn and Benny, were writing Chess, the musical, with Tim Rice doing the lyrics.
Yeah.
And I noticed they had every possible album of every show from South Pacific to Maine, God knows what, everything in there. And they were listening to the tracks and seeing which track they felt was the best at this point in the show and why, trying to evaluate why. And then the other trick was to use a set of lyrics that had already been written for another song. But you don't play that song. What do? You sit down there. Say I'm doing a song like Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. But you want to do a rock and roll song, but you use those words to scan the song instead. So you might be doing Yesterday, love was such an easy game to play. Whoa. And you use those words as your vehicle to get a melody and a chord sequence sorted out. That was a very crude version, I'm embarrassed to say. Sorry, Paul. But you know what I mean? Once you've got the vehicle for the words, somebody else's words, then you got your melody. Your melody arrives, your chord sequence arrives, then you change the words to what you want to say, words. Yeah. That's another little trick I've noticed people using.
You play everything on the album, really, and virtually. And there's a couple of sort of backing vocalists, but basically it's Eric Stewart. You play everything, and you've written everything. With the songwriting process, I'm curious because you've written with so many people over the years. Obviously, Graham Gouldman and the other members from 10cc, plus Paul McCartney and other people. What's the difference in writing on your own to writing with other people? I mean, I guess difference one is there's nobody to bounce off.
You've got to be schizophrenic. And then you find yourself talking to yourself, saying, do you think that's good? Well, no, that's not good enough. Go back and do it again. No, but seriously, I love working with other people. That's the main way to bounce. But I wanted to experiment, see how far I could get, just sitting there on my own, with the wonderful instruments that are available now, and using phenomenal samples you can get of good brass and good strings and things like that. And so I can physically play the piano, so I could play anything that would be sampled from a keyboard. The only thing I got stuck on was the girl backing vocals. Even tried it in a dress, just didn't sound right.
Wouldn't have suited you, Eric.
It didn't suit me.
No,
not at all. So I used Sam Brown, who's a great singer. Joe Brown's daughter.
Brown's daughter. Yeah, she had a couple of hits in the 80s, 90s. Yeah,
and a couple of friends of hers they do lots of stuff. They do lots with the Jewel Holland show and his albums. Very, very professional. I had a ball working with them, and I brought them into David Gilmour's studio. He's got this wonderful houseboat on the Thames. It's a converted houseboat that's now a studio.
Sweet.
It's a beautiful thing that used to belong to Fred Carno, the circus guy. And it's a studio on the Thames, so you sat in the Thames watching the boats and the ducks and the geese go by, and you're recording in this wonderful environment. So I went there and recorded the girls.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to see what my tracks were sounding like in someone else's studio.
Yeah.
As you said, you do get a bit too close to it if you sat there on your own trying to argue with yourself. But I'm pleased with the way it's worked. I might not do it that way next time, but I'm pleased. It's been a faster way for me to work in that I've not had to ask somebody for their opinion or their okay for something.
Yeah.
I can just say to myself, is that good enough, Eric? yeah or no, and keep trying until I'm happy with it.
We've got a couple of instruments around. You've got a nice grand piano.
There's a grand piano there.
We've got the Fender Rhodes. We've also, you've brought your 57 Strat with you as well.
I have my 57 Strat.
Yeah, yes. So we've got all angles covered. You mentioned Dave Gilmour there. I'm curious, actually, while this brings to mind, Art for Art's Sake, I always thought there was a kind of a sort of a Pink Floyd Wish You Were Here vibe to that. Was that intentional?
Not consciously.
Not consciously.
Not consciously.
But you kind of influence each other, don't you, sort of guitarists?
Guitarists do. I mean, they do listen to each other. I love Dave's guitar playing, especially The Wall.
Yeah.
That blew me away. I always envied Pink Floyd because they didn't need a hit single. 10cc, we did lots of hit singles, but we had to struggle to get the albums up the charts, especially in America.
Yeah.
Something we never actually achieved. We never got a number one album, although we had 2 number one singles there. But Floyd could release an album, it would go straight to number one. No singles, no hassle with trying to write a 3-minute pastiche to advertise the album. Really envy that.
Can you remember a lot of those 10cc guitar solos? Because I thought there was some good stuff on there.
Yeah.
I mean, could you maybe pick up the guitar and kind of? I think I'm going to mention Art for Art's Sake, which was that sort of riff at the start of that song was very meaty. You've got your 57 Strat with you. It's a bit scratched, Eric, but it's seen many a gig.
Give me your body. Give me your mind. Give me your body. Give me your mind.
Sounds great.
Give me your silver. Give me your gold. Make it $1 million before I get old. Art for Art's sake. Money for God's sake. Art for Art's sake. Money for God's sake. The song came about from Graham Gilman's father, Jaime.
Right.
He used to say, when we were talking about doing songs that would mean something to the public, mean something for posterity, for history, he used to say, boys, art for art's sake, money for God's sake, okay?
And it made a song.
It made a song, yeah. I mean, a lot of songs develop from a title like that.
Yeah.
Somebody gives that title to me, art for art's sake, money for God's sake.
Yeah.
It conjures up a million things as to why.
Yeah. Are you always on the lookout for songs? If somebody says a phrase, do you ding?
Yeah. As a songwriter, your brain is always open to that somehow. And somebody will just, they'll say it like, for instance, a 10cc track, Life is a Minestrone.
Oh, yeah.
We finished in the studio, Strawberry Studios, we finished recording, and Lol was staying with me at the time, Lol Cream, and we were driving home and listening to BBC Radio. And this guy said, "We're doing a minestrone." And Lol said, "Did that guy say life is a minestrone?" I said, I don't know, but what a great song, what a great idea for a song. What a great title, Life is a Minestrone, isn't it? It's a mixture of everything you pile in there.
Yeah.
And of course, once we sat down to start writing Life is a Minestrone, well, what's death? Death's got to be a cold lasagna, 3 days old, stuck in the fridge. You don't want to eat it. And once you get on a run like that about food and feeling, we had it written in a day.
Because that was unusual, actually. That was a Cream Stewart song, wasn't it?
It's a Cream Stewart song, yeah. You
sort of crossed over, because 10cc basically, more often than not, was Godley and Cream, and you and Graham. You occasionally crossed over. Was that just because of that car journey where you happened to hear that guy say that?
It was, yeah. More often than not, if one of us had an idea, we took it in the studio before we started to record. And this is as we were setting up to record a whole album. You take it in the studio and say, look, for instance, I had this song I wanted to write called I'm Not in Love.
Yeah.
And I took it into the studio. I said, I've got this idea about a song. It's a love song, but it's called I'm Not in Love. Who fancies going with me on that one? And Godley and Cream looked at me rather strange and said, not another love song, no. And Graham Gilman said, oh yeah, I'll have a crack at it with you. So we sat down and started to write it. And that's the democratic way 10cc used to write. So occasionally, the partnership of Graham and myself or Godley and Cream didn't quite like the idea of what their partner wanted to do. So Lol would then write with me.
Yeah.
Or if Kevin wanted to write something with Graham, Lol would say, well, have you got any ideas? Or he'd say, I've got this idea for this. Why don't you and me just waste the time. Let's just sit in the studio and have a little mess around.
So there's a lot of messing around, a lot of mixing.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, there's meaty guitar solos on a lot of those 10cc tracks. The solo on Rubber Bullets is a personal favourite of mine. It's a fantastic solo.
That's a double track solo on that. It's very, very high. Of course, going through a Marshall stack. Then I slowed the tape down to half speed, 7.5, and recorded it, going. And then when you speed it back up, you've got an octave up with this screaming fuzz on the top of it. There's an octave higher than it was recorded.
Yeah.
So it's a very unusual sound done in that way, just an experiment. Because 10cc, we love to experiment. We used to love to waste time. And having the beauty of having our own studio, we didn't have a clock in there, so we weren't restricted.
Yeah. So you and Graham were working together.
Yeah.
How did the two factions move off? Was it more comfortable writing with Graham than it was with Kevin and Lol?
It was at the time. I mean, Godley and Cream had been writing together or working with each other on graphics even from art school. And they certainly had this incredible bond between them. And it was psychic. They knew what each other was thinking, and they could write very quickly.
Yeah.
And they did come up with these wonderful, wacky ideas. Wonderful, wacky ideas. Rubber Bullets. We're in the BBC at the moment, but the BBC banned it because they thought it was about Northern Ireland.
Oh, right.
And the Rubber Bullets there. But of course it wasn't. It was about like the Attica State Prison riot, where the policeman and the padre was there. Like one of those old early Cagney films. It's based on that sort of ethic.
The middle section in that, there's, as you mentioned earlier, 10cc songs are really complex songs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on there. And you were you engineered the sort of 10cc albums.
Yeah.
For example, Rubber Bullets, how complicated was that to put together? And can you sort of demonstrate the sort of chord sequence in the middle, maybe?
It's incredibly complicated because we were working on 8 tracks at the time.
Right.
Going back a bit further, people were working on stereo, but once people had started to do this manufactured layered system of recording, you needed more tracks. And Rubber Bullets started out as a pure 12-bar, I can't get as high as that, it's low. I went to a party at the local county jail. All the cons were dancing and the band began to wail. The guys were indiscreet. They were bawling in the street. At the local dance, at the local county jail. So the verse was quite a simple,
really
chuggy...
Really simple, yeah.
Chuggy, Chuck Berry type of thing.
Yeah.
But having this quirky duo in the band as well, Kevin suddenly said, well, I think you should go somewhere else in the middle, Sergeant Baker started calling with a bullhorn in his hand. Where are we going with this? For a fact, the beat stops. Yeah. Someone's dancing to it. They're going to suddenly stand there and say, what are you doing? Where are we going next? Do we wait? And we had this big discussion about what we're going to do with this. But we agreed, even though we'd cut the rhythm out, the actual speed of it was continuing. So somebody very clever might continue dancing. And it worked, though. It worked beautifully. We got a number 1 with it, and we got a first sniff at the American charts with it.
Sure,
got in the top 20, so
yeah.
We thought we were away there.
Yeah, great song, really, really. That's a classic song.
Interesting track.
Wall Street Shuffle was one of your biggies. You and Graham, which you played Cardiff Castle, of course, didn't you? A lot of our listeners will remember 1975, July the 12th, I think. 1975, you played Cardiff Castle. I remember leaning out of my bedroom window as a 12-year-old. I lived about 5 miles away from Cardiff Castle, and I can still hear it today in the distance because you must have been a loud band. I could hear ow, 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 ow. You must have been so loud.
Yeah.
That's a great song.
It's a very interesting track, Alan. We were crossing Wall Street in New York in a stretch limousine, celebrating the fact that we'd got in the charts was Rubber Bullets.
Yeah.
And we're going across the big financial district of America there. And just as we were going across the street, Lowell said, Wall Street, the Wall Street Shuffle. And I said, do the Wall Street Shuffle. The melody, I had the melody in my head, but it was Lowell's words, Wall Street Shuffle. And by that time, I'd started writing more, so I was getting a little bit more confident in what I was doing in the writing partnerships. And those things stay with you, as I was saying earlier on. If somebody says a nice line to you, or you hear something on radio, there's a part of your brain suddenly locks it in if it's good, and you'll never forget it until you get in the studio and start to write. And we got to the studio to start writing our second album, which is Sheet Music. And I said to Lowell, remember that idea, Lowell, Wall Street Shuffle? And he said, yeah, it's a great idea, great title, but I don't think I don't feel like writing it. I don't think I have anything to put in that in terms of words.
Yeah.
So I said, well, anybody else want to write? Is anybody going to go for this? And Graham said, yeah, okay, yeah, let's try and write it. So I had the riff already. Do the Wall Street Shuffle. From there, it just developed on and on and on and on. And we at the time, there was this big run on the pound, and some guy in America, Getty, Rothschild, all these names were coming up. They were manipulating the market. Pound was down, getting hammered. So you've automatically got a whole book of lyrics to put into your song there with what's going on in the world. So a very easy song to write.
Yeah.
But some complex, weird chords to put in there, but quite grabbing within the context of the rhythm, which was this gorgeous slap rhythm. And I remember the kit in the studio. The kit belonged to Jerry Conway.
Yeah.
And at the time we were recording Sheet Music, Paul McCartney was in the studio all the way through the night recording Mike McGear's album, his brother.
Right.
Yeah? The drummer was Jerry Conway and had this lovely little Gretsch kit, all loose skins. I used his drum setup and mic'd it with this repeat echo. It's got this gorgeous flapping echo drum sound. Once we had that and the electric piano down, it sounded like a hit already.
Yeah, very clever lyrics on that as well.
But the lyrics were just pulled out of the air at that time.
Yeah, great.
A lot of interesting financial wheelings.
And you mentioned McCartney, a very Beatley middle eight. Oh, Howard Hughes, did your money make you bad? Really?
Very, very Beatley. Oh, we were very Beatles influenced.
You were very Beatles influenced.
Well, they broke all the boundaries for everybody, you see. We followed them up a few avenues, and then we broke off at a tangent with our own ideas again.
Yeah.
Which, we'll talk about Paul. I mean, Paul said to me many times, I see where you got that idea from. You nicked that, didn't you, from one of my tracks? I say, yeah, I did, but, didn't we make it good?
Exactly.
We didn't rubbish it, did we? We improved it.
Yeah, I know it's been a long time. How much of Wall Street Shuffle could you remember for us now? It's such a classic song.
Well, the big da da down down. Street Shuffle, let the money hustle, feel the tumble, sorry, forgot the words, feel the sterling crumble, you need a yen to make your mark if you want to make money, you need the luck to make a buck if you want to be a Getty, Rothschild, gotta be cool on Wall Street. Gotta be cool on Wall Street. I can't go to the indexes though. Sorry, I can't remember any more of it. But
we get the gist.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, great stuff.
Dow Jones ain't got time for the bums.
Yeah.
They wind up on Skid Row with holes in their pockets. They plead with you, buddy, can you spare a dime? But you ain't got the time.
To do it now.
Yeah.
And records like that, back in those days, could be hit singles as well.
Yeah.
You could put out them as obscure songs and they'd be hits.
Well, they're stories, aren't they? They're stories that people seem to latch onto, although the rhythm of the choruses and so on is quite catchy and melodic, so people will lock into that. But for them to lock into a lyric as complex as that and remember the words, that's quite unusual.
You've put some massive production numbers together in 10cc.
We certainly did.
I mean, I've got the greatest hits here. If you look at the actual greatest hits, you had a lot of hits, and I mean, you studio engineered all the records. And you were a very autonomous band, actually, 10cc. You were sort of very self-sufficient.
Incestuous.
Incestuous is the word. That's a polite way of putting it.
Yes.
I'm Mandy Fly Me is a phenomenal piece of production. How long did it take to write that song and to piece that song together?
The idea came from American Airlines used to have this beautiful poster that they displayed with this gorgeous stewardess inviting you onto the plane. Now, her name wasn't Mandy, actually. It was something like... gosh knows. I'm Cindy. A very American name.
Yeah.
I'm Cindy Fly Me.
Yeah.
Which had quite sexual connotation as well.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing in Manchester this beautiful poster, and just below it was this tramp. I mean, a serious tramp, quite a raggedy guy, looking up at this girl. I thought, God, you know, there's a song there. Look at that guy looking up at Cindy. Fly Me. And I know he's never going to get on an aeroplane. I don't think. Except in his dreams. So I brought the idea back to the studio when we were writing for How Dare You album, put it to the guys, anybody interested in this? I'm Mandy Fly Me. I'd switched it to Mandy. And Graham said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I've got some ideas, I've got some chords, let's slot these things in, try it, mess it around. We wrote it, and we didn't like it. We scrapped it.
Why didn't you like it?
It just wasn't going anywhere. But enter from stage left the wicked villain, Kevin Godley, twiddling his moustache, says, I know what's wrong with it. Let's sit down again. He said, I think it just gets too bland. It just goes on one plane. Your verses and your middles and your da-da-da, they're all going on one plane. What it needs is something to go bash on the side of your head. So we changed the rhythm completely.
Right.
And we put two whacking great guitar solos in there, in the middle of this quite soft, floaty song. Once we'd got that idea in, it just gelled into something else. Again, impossible to dance to. There's a lot of 10cc tracks were. But once Kevin had put that in, he became the third writer in the song.
Yeah.
So we were quite democratic in that way.
Yeah.
We could all suggest what we didn't like or did like. But Kevin wasn't actually subtle with it. He'd just turn around and say, Eric, that's crap. What? I've spent 2 weeks writing this. Crap. Can't you be a little bit more descriptive? You don't like... And he said, it's just crap. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
What? So we rewrote it. And Mandy became this lovely, interesting song with the whacking guitar solos in them.
Tricky chords to put to the song? Can you
quite tricky.
Because as I say, it's a very complex song. But I wonder if you can...
yeah.
After you pieced it all together in the studio and Kevin Godley told you what you'd done initially was crap.
And it had this lovely... Just like a rolling stone, I'm outside looking in. But if your chance came, would you take it? Where on earth do I begin? I'm Mandy, etc., etc.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that very well. Yeah. And it goes all the way through those middles and then flips into the... big block 10cc chord of vocals there. Complex to record.
And even worse, I guess, to do it live. How did you do these songs live?
You can get around it. What you have to do is ditch a lot of the stuff that is not that important in the song. In the recording and in the mixing and the stereo picture, it's very important for me to get this balance and have all the the elements, all coming through and jumping up to surprise people.
Yeah.
Main thing we're doing is surprising ourselves in the studio, and that's the joy of us doing it. But on stage, you have to take away the stuff that's maybe not as meaningful as the good basic rhythm, the electric piano, the two choppy guitars just flipping on first and third and second and fourth beats in the song. And somehow the audience fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
They do it. I do it when I go to watch somebody. And if I go and watch Brian Wilson or the Beach Boys or something like that, I'm not going to hear what was on the record, although they did get pretty close, I must say. But there are bits missing that you compensate for in your head. You know the song, you love the record.
Yeah.
It's your favourite track or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the way around it on stage.
Yeah, and we mentioned earlier that you obviously had Strawberry Studios, so you were very kind of an autonomous band. And you used every instrument under the sun. You used to list them on the album as well, and you mentioned the How Dare You album, which I'm Mandy Fly Me came off.
Yeah.
I remember, I'm not sure if it was you or Lol, actually played the zip on one of the tracks, which I presume was just one of you doing up your fly.
It was.
Was it you?
It wasn't me, no, it was Kevin Godley again.
It was Kevin Godley?
Kevin Godley, who else?
I thought, I know, what we need
Dick
here is somebody doing up their zip. I can't remember what song it was on. It's on that album.
It was, I think it was Iceberg, and it was a pretty heavy song, that. One of those songs that almost split the group. You know, you get these songs, Kevin, we can't sing that on the album. Really. I know it sounds good. It's like we did that song called Worst Band in the World.
Yeah.
It's one thing to know it, another to admit we're the worst band in the world and we don't give a... You missed the word out, but the Bee banned it.
Really?
Yeah. We didn't get plays, and so we had to put another version out saying, we're the worst band in the world, but we don't give up.
Yeah. Did you worry about the lyrics on, talking of lyrics, on Dreadlock Holiday?
Yeah.
Did you, because some people kind of misunderstood those. Did you find that when you brought the record out, even though it was a massive hit?
I think you're right, because it was a hit because the choruses and things were very, very hooky. Mm. Especially I Don't Like Cricket section and all that. And the story behind the song is lovely. I got the idea for the song for two reasons. I was in Barbados at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this white guy walking down the street behind this group of black guys. And they've got a lovely rhythm. Christ, you know, when they walk and they move, it's musical. It's this gorgeous rhythm when they're walking. And I saw this white guy walking behind them trying to emulate this stuff. I was walking down the street, concentrating on trucking right. I was looking a complete idiot. But it really interested me, and I wrote the idea down as soon as I got back to the hotel. I scribbled the first verse down. Great, I had the idea. And the guy was on holiday. We were in a place when dreadlocks were quite current at the time with the Ethiopian Haile Selassie and the guys, and Bob Marley was big hero there in the Caribbean, of course. I brought it back and I mentioned it to the guys, and Graham Goldman said, funny, he said, I was in Jamaica, he went to Jamaica, I was in Barbados. He said, I was talking to a Jamaican about cricket the other day when I was there, and I said to the guy, well, I suppose you like cricket, don't you? He said, like it, I love it. I said, what a great idea for a lyric. I don't like cricket, I love it. Of course you do. It's everything you love. So that section is there. We've got the first verse, we've got that section. We mentioned this to a DJ up in Newcastle, and he said, very strange you should say that. I was on holiday in the Caribbean. This is absolutely true, Alan, I assure you. I was on holiday in the Caribbean. I'm walking down the street. There are two guys leaning against the wall on my right, two black guys, and a black guy leaning on the lamppost. And just as I walk in between them, the guy says, hey, man, don't you walk through my words. Like, don't walk through my conversation. It's rude.
Wow.
I said, that's brilliant. Brilliant. Can we have it? Yeah, of course. We use those words. Don't you walk through my words. You got to show some respect. Don't you walk through my words because you ain't heard me out yet. And other little things that happened to me on the same holiday. I was sat on a life raft in the middle of the ocean there with Justin Hayward, who's the singer from the Moody Blues. Yeah. And we were doing this parachute sailing, where a boat drags you off the raft and you go flying around with a parachute on, and a life belt, of course. I left Justin on the raft, and I went up on the parasail, towed around Barbados, getting blown about. Then they bring you down, they drop you theoretically on the raft again. I got down on the raft. I said, "Okay, Justin, are you getting on the raft as well?" He said, "No, man, we've got to get off this raft quickly." He said, "I'm really scared." I said, "What happened?" He said, "I'll tell you when we get back. We get the hotel to pick us up." So we got the hotel boat to come out, drove us back. I said, "What happened?" He said, "Well, as soon as you went up there, this guy said to me, I like your silver chain. You got a silver chain on." He said, "I'll give you $1 for it." He was a Jamaican.
Yeah.
"I'll give you $1. And Justin said, no, this is very special to me. This was a present from my mother." He said, "Listen, man, if this was Jamaica, I'd cut your fucking hand off." And he said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, and I like your watch too, and I'll give you $1 for your watch." So Justin was freaked out.
Yeah.
We got back to the hotel. He said, "What is this? I've never experienced this in the Caribbean before." So we mentioned it to the hotel. And so we get some of these guys come in from Kingston, Jamaica, the gang guys, the druggies, and we've got to collar them. So he sent the police out to get this guy. That became part of the song as well.
Wow.
He looked down at my silver chain and said, "I'll give you $1. And then the other thing that happens on the island, people are always coming up to you saying, "Have you got everything you need?" And they're selling ganja.
Right.
And it's always a pretty girl. "You got everything you need?" So third verse was there. Lying down at the swimming pool, someone comes up.
And you put it to music, obviously,
Yeah.
and it was a huge hit. I mean, how did the chords come about? Was it, again, fairly straightforward? Because it's one of the, I guess, one of the more sort of simple 10cc songs, actually, looking at it.
Yeah. Walking down the street, concentrating on trucking right. I heard a dark voice beside of me, and I looked round in a state of fright. I saw 4 faces, one mad, trouble from the gutter. He looked me up and down a bit and turned to each other. "Oh, you're in trouble." I said, "I don't like cricket. I love it. I don't like cricket. I love it. Don't you walk through my words, you got to show some respect. Don't you walk through my words, 'cause you ain't heard me out yet." That's the whole song. You've got the chorus, the verse, and the reprise in there.
Yeah.
And it just goes around that and then jumps up a semitone for the third verse.
Great song.
But very rhythmic and one of those things that sort of sticks in people's mind. Even the lyric, again, is quite complex.
Yeah. And a huge
story.
hit, number 1 for you.
Number 1,
7.
worldwide except America.
Absolutely. Godley and Cream, as you say, that they left the band. You were hugely successful, and they left to sort of develop the Gizmo.
Yeah.
Was that the reason they split? Did you fall out with them at the time, or were you sorry to see them go?
I was sorry to see them go, but we certainly did fall out at the time. I thought they were crazy.
Why?
They were just walking away from something so big and successful. We'd had great success around the world, and I thought we were just breaking in a very, very big way. The collective dynamite of those 4 people who could all write, who could all sing a hit song in one band. I don't think it's ever been heard of before. Well, the Beatles were, of course, on another planet anyway. But the 4 guys who could write like that and do it all in-house, our own studio.
Was that a problem in a way? Was it those 4 creative minds? Did that sort of cause tension? And
I think it does eventually, Alan. Yeah. I think it becomes claustrophobic in the fact that you're trying to perfect things and you're looking at each other, and eventually you say this relationship is a little too tight for me now, and I need to break away. And that's what, in retrospect, I found out long after because I still speak to Godley and Cream. Lol is my brother-in-law, so I've got to see him. But for quite a while we didn't talk. I just said, "You're out of your minds leaving this band.
Yeah.
We're on such a winning curve." Graham and Goldman and I had to decide, are we going to be 5cc? Or are we going to scrap the name completely? And we thought, we'd better carry on because this is 10cc. We are 10cc, this band.
Yeah.
2 of our members are leaving. That's not our problem.
Yeah.
But we've got to carry it on.
And you carried on very successfully, which is unusual. Often when major figures from a band leave and that band carries on, the band doesn't do as well. But you continue to have huge success. And the Deceptive Bends album came out with songs like another one of my favourites, The Things We Do for Love.
Yeah.
Now, would you show us a little bit of The Things We Do for Love on the old... we've got a Steinway here in our studio. Another big hit single for you.
We have a Steinway, yeah.
Yeah. How did this come about, Eric?
This song I wrote with Graham Gouldman.
Yeah.
And originally, it was a very bluesy song, like too many broken hearts have fallen in the river. Too many lonely souls have drifted out to sea. You lay your bets and then you pay the price. Things we do for love. Very, very bluesy version of it. And we actually played that to Kevin Lowe, Godley and Cream. And Kevin said, it's interesting, but I think you should speed it up a bit and make it a bit more beefy. And then they left the band. So it didn't. We never got in the studio to try it with them, but Graham Gouldman and I did. And too many broken hearts have fallen in the river. Too many lonely souls have drifted out to sea. You lay your bets and then you pay the price. The things we do for love. You've got a number and your hand is on the phone. The weather's turned and all the lights are down. The things we do for love. Like walking in the rain and the snow, and there's nowhere to go, and you're feeling like a part of you is dying, and you're looking for the answer in her eyes. You think you're gonna break up, and she says she wants to make up. Ooh, you made me love you. Ooh, you've got away. Ooh, you had me crawling up the wall. Sorry about that. It's many years since I've sung that song.
Oh, fantastic song. A compromise would surely help the situation.
Yeah,
agree to disagree, but disagree to part.
Disagree to part. And it's biographical. A lot of songs are biographical,
Yeah.
you know. And I remember walking through the rain and the snow when I lived in Manchester, and we didn't have a telephone. I had to go and find a phone box to ring the girl who was about to become my wife, and the phones were down, and it was snowing.
Yeah.
And these vivid pictures are there, and if you put them in a song,
Yeah.
a lot of people identify with a similar situation.
And when you play the song, does it all come back to you? Is like
Yeah.
a sense of smell where it reminds you of where you were? when you
Exactly.
heard
I
it?
remember exactly what was going on and ringing up and eventually getting through to her father saying, could you tell Gloria that I can't make it tomorrow night. I've got a gig in Petersburg. And he was a typical Yorkshireman. Right, I'll tell her. You're not going to be here tomorrow. You don't want to see her. Right, put the phone down. I said, what? Oh, hold it. So, ooh, you made me love you. You got away. It's a love song.
It's great.
Things we do for love.
Yeah.
Exactly, what we do for love.
Was it a relief when the hits kept on going with the new 10cc?
Oh, absolutely.
I bet.
I mean, the first one was Good Morning, Judge.
Was that song written out of just a sort of basic guitar riff?
Yeah, out of a riff. I had this riff. Well, good morning, Judge, how you today? I'm in trouble, please put me away. A pretty thing took a shine to me. I couldn't stop, so let it be. I couldn't stop, so let it be. Couldn't stop, so let it be. I couldn't stop, so let it be. But that battle, you have to do it on the slide. I can't play it.
Yeah, great. That rocks. Really.
It's a good fun song.
But again, complicated. I didn't do it. He wasn't there. All that sort of.
Oh yeah. Well, he didn't do it. He wasn't there. I didn't want it. I wouldn't care. Well, good morning, Judge. Yes, I'm back again. I'm in trouble, so it's back to the pen. I found a car, but I couldn't pay. I fell in love and I drove it away. I fell in love and I drove it away. Fell in love and I drove it away. Fell in love and I drove it away. Something like that.
Brilliant. Fantastic song. Okay, we are heading towards the end of the programme. 10cc had hits for years on end, as we discovered. And then the hits kind of died off a bit, Eric. And
oh, yeah.
I mean, before we talk about what the band splitting, was that a big anticlimax after you'd had so much success and then the hits stopped coming? Was that a pain for you? Obviously it was.
There was a sort of defining point in time, which would be after 1979, and two things happened. I had a ridiculous car crash.
Yeah.
In January 79. We were just about to go to Japan. And we just had Good Morning Judge, Things We Do for Love. Bloody Tourist was the #1 album. Dreadlock Holiday was #1. Again, we were flying. I had this accident and it flattened me completely. I damaged my left ear, damaged my eye very badly. I couldn't go near music. I couldn't go near anything loud, and I love music and motor racing. I had to stay away from both things for a long time, for about 6 months. And the momentum, this big machine that we'd had rolling, slowed and slowed and slowed. And on the music scene, the punk thing had come in a big way.
Yeah.
The Sex Pistols, Clash, lots of things like that. So by the time I was sort of fit again to play, I think we'd missed the bus. It'd gone.
Yeah.
And whatever we did after that, we got a few tickles here and there, and we could continue touring forever on the strength of the past hits. But it didn't feel right. Didn't feel right again. We just didn't have that public with us.
And are they finished, dead and buried now, 10cc? Will they ever get back together?
I don't think 10cc, as it ever existed, will ever get back together. I mean, the strong 10cc was the four-piece because of this wonderful ability to go in 16,000 different directions musically, lyrically.
Okay, well, we've left your most famous song to last. We're going to finish the programme now. We haven't mentioned I'm Not In Love. We haven't looked at it. So would you say that was your most famous song? And is it one of your favourites?
It is the most famous song. I wouldn't say it's one of my favourites. It wasn't actually the biggest selling song either, believe me. Right. Things We Do for Love was a bigger seller.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Especially in America.
Because I'm Not In Love is considered now, I think, it's fair to say, as a bit of a standard, really, isn't it?
It's a classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it made number 10 or 11 in the top 20 of all time this year.
Yeah.
It was #1 of all time for 10 years.
Yeah.
Something like that. The idea for the song comes around from my wife saying to me, why don't you say I love you more often?
Right.
So I said, well, if I keep saying it, it's going to lose all its credibility. If I say to you every day, hello, darling, I love you, it's not going to mean much, is it? But it really got me to thinking, now, how can I say the same words without saying I love you? And I thought, well, I'll say I'm not in love, but here are all the reasons why I am. And once you've got that idea locked in your mind, the song came around very, very quickly. I have these little... It's quite bossa nova-y.
Yeah.
Love, no, it's because and I took it into the studio and I said, I've got this idea, guys. It's called I'm Not In Love. I thought, it's very 10cc, that. It's a love song called I'm Not In Love. Does anybody want to finish it with me? So Graham Goldman said, yeah, I've got some ideas for some opening chords, which on the electric piano. No, so I put those and switched my guitar thing across. Sorry, at this point in time, we were still playing it as this little bossa nova.
Yeah.
Brazil 66. And we took it in to play it to Kevin Lowell.
Yeah. And what did Godley say?
Godley said it's crap. He said, come on, guys, this is so sickly. It's painful. I might add at this point in time, he's since apologised for saying that. He said, because I wished I'd have written the bloody thing.
I bet, yeah.
But he said, no, I don't see it. So he said, okay. We'd actually recorded a bossa nova version, laid it down. No way. We scrapped it.
Right.
It went in the bin. We were on the original soundtrack album, so we got locked into One Night in Paris, this big epic thing we were doing, which was originally going to be one side of the album. However, people walking around the studio, engineers, the girl in the office, would be going around going, la, la,
catchy.
La, la. And I looked at Graham and I said, that song's a hit, I don't know what's going on here, but I think we've got to try it again. And blow me down, Kevin came up with the idea. He said, well...
After saying he didn't like it?
He said he didn't like it. He said, let's do something very different. And let's do a whole track. And the whole backing track is voices.
Right. Which hadn't been done before?
Not that I know of, except for like a cappella.
Yeah.
Going back to old religious monks singing in churches.
Sure.
But we needed something to keep a rhythm. So Kevin said, well, I'll play a bass drum sound on a Moog, just going... You couldn't actually hear a note, actually, as you can on this Rhodes.
Yeah.
So it was just a boof, 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 boof. And a little rhythm guitar. Graham played the rhythm guitar. And I sat down on the Fender Rhodes and tried to figure the chord on the Rhodes.
Right.
And switch. Then we had to figure how to do a backing using purely voices. And it took us 3 weeks of recording single chants of everybody in the studio, including Godley, Cream and Goldman, with me engineering. Them in the studio just going, ah, ah. Then me linking them all together, taking 16 tracks of those R's, then mixing them down to one track. So eventually we had a chromatic scale of 13 notes of R's on this tape, plus one little stereo backing track with the bass drum on it and a rhythm guitar for timing. Then I had to mix those 16 tracks across to a stereo pair to give us the whole vocal backing before the lead vocal was put on. So we run out of tracks. The way we developed to do it, we made some tape loops in the studio, which were about 16 feet long.
Right.
So you wouldn't have a loop going, ah, ah, ah. This loop would have a little blip where the tape join was, about every 16 feet. Then I put them on the control desk and put a piece of gaffer tape just underneath the faders so that all the notes, even though it was a chromatic scale and quite discordant, if you listen to them solo, was just sizzling underneath the backing bass drum and rhythm. And then 4 of us got on the control desk as the song was played and started pushing the faders up and down as the chords were changing. And we had every note written on the faders on the desk. So, with this always there, sustaining in the background. I put the lead vocal on it, and we came in and we said, God, we've got something here, but I don't know what we're going to do. What are we going to do with it? At that point in time, we were still on Jonathan King's label, but struggling. We were absolutely skint, a lot of us. We were really struggling, seriously. And Philips Phonogram wanted to do a deal with us. They wanted to buy Jonathan King's contract. And I rang them. I said, come and have a listen to what we've done. Come and have a listen to this track. And they came up and they freaked. And they said, this is a masterpiece. How much money? What do you want? what sort of a contract do you want? We'll do anything. We'll sign it. On the strength of that one song,
wow.
We did a 5-year deal with them for 5 albums, and they paid us a serious amount of money.
Yeah.
So it really saved our bacon. However, when we came to decide to release it, we didn't have the guts, because it was 6.5 minutes long, ballad. 10cc up to that point were quite quirky bands.
Sure.
So we released Live in Minestrone, which was a hit. And great. And then I started getting these telegrams before we used to get emails. We used to get telegrams from people. And I got a lovely telegram from Roy Wood. He said, "You've got to release that song. It's a effing number one. Thank God you guys are around. British music is saved."
Yeah.
I've still got the telegram at home. It's so sweet. So we went with it, and Philips Phonogram released it, Polygram. Of course, it was a number one.
It was a number one.
Everywhere.
Absolutely, and a revolutionary track, really. And it was taken ages to put together. Now, of course, you could do that vocal sound on a computer.
On a computer. It's a doddle. Yeah, it's a doddle.
Well, listen, I thoroughly enjoyed meeting you today. As you can tell, I'm a huge fan of yours. I think you've done some fantastic stuff over the years. Thank you very much for joining me on I Write the Songs. It's really nice to meet you, Eric. And could we go out with a bit of I'm Not in Love?
No, yeah.
Just a silly phase I'm going through. And just because I call you up, don't get me wrong, don't think you've got it made. I'm not in love, no, no. It's because to see you, but then again, that doesn't mean you mean that much to me. So if I call you, don't make a fuss, don't tell your friends about the two of us. I'm not in love, no, no. It's because piano. Solo here, and then the secretary Kathy Gill comes in and says, "Be quiet, big boys don't cry, big boys don't cry, big boys don't cry." I keep your picture up on the wall. It hides a nasty stain that's lying there. But don't you ask me to give it back. I know you know it doesn't mean that much to me. I'm not in love, no, no. It's because, ooh, you wait a long time for me. Just a silly phase I'm going through. And just because I call you up, don't get me wrong, don't think you've got it made. Ooh, I'm not in love, I'm not in love. 256 voices.
In I Write the Songs, Alan Thompson was talking to Eric Stewart